Hey guys, it's Lucia from emeraldstitchcraft. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. This week's video is going to be a recap of the summer portion of the 52 Weeks of Granny Squares or A Year of Granny Squares book by Kylie Maletta. I've already posted the spring version, so I thought I would do a little recap of the summer version. So in case you're wondering, I do post every week little shorts of the actual Granny Squares, of making them. I've been having a ton of fun doing that and I hope you've been enjoying watching them. So, starting off strong, and if you see me looking down, by the way, it is because I have the book here because I can't remember all the names of these, so I will have to consult the book. So, week number 14 is when the summer portion started, and so the very first one was Sunset Skies. So I'll show you up close. So I actually really quite liked this one. I thought it was very clever and very simple. It's literally just like one, like if you imagine it without this portion, it's just a basic granny square like this, but then you add on the 4 kind of half granny squares to give it the full square. It's a really versatile kind of granny square, so it's the kind of granny square you can change any of these colours and do it in any kind of colour you want when you're adding these all together. So basically you're putting these kind of side by side, you will be left with like tons of diamond shapes, if you get me. I'll show you what I mean with the book. So if you keep all of the granny squares, like that's 4 granny squares put together basically, and so you can create like kind of continuous diamonds all the way around. So I thought that was a really kind of cool thing. It could be nice making a nice kind of jumper or bag or something like that. It could be kind of fun. Yeah, very, very easy. You can't really kind of go wrong with this one, so I did quite enjoy that one. Next up is week 15, which is Midsummer. Now this I think is one of my favorites. I think it is so cute. The way it's just like the little sun. Like, can you imagine this kind of border on a blanket or something like that? I think that would be very, very cute. I'll show you. So it's pretty simple. It's just like a circular kind of granny square, and then you're attaching kind of in the back, and then after that it's just a pretty normal granny square. So again, like I said, I think this would be very cute if you did kind of like patchwork in a quilt or something, maybe like a nice little summer picnic blanket. I think it could be very, very cute. I like the way when you attach to the back of the circle here, you can kind of see that it's almost created like a raised kind of circle. I think that's really, really interesting. That's actually a little technique I then basically implemented into my pouches that I've been making. I just thought it was really, really, really cute. So week 16 is Sunflower Days. Now this is probably my favourite of all of them, just purely because of how interesting this is. Like, look at this shape. I'll show you close. Look at it. Oh, didn't weave in my ends. Look at how interesting the shape is. Like the little clusters, and then doing, I can't even remember what the stitch was, like double triples or whatever. I don't know, but just look how interesting that shape is. Like this bit, the way it goes like this, I think that's so cool. It's like, it's not a traditional granny square, but I suppose if you wanted to connect them, like you could kind of do your like, you know, singles, half doubles, doubles, triples or whatever to kind of make this a straight line and connect them. But I just thought that was so interesting. A little bit fiddly to start with this kind of inner bit here. I think it took me like 3 or 4 attempts, but I was really, really glad I kind of stuck with it because I just think it's so cool. It's just something a little bit different. Yeah, not your traditional granny square. Just thought it was cool. Week 17 then is Helenium. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's this one here. So it's based on an actual real flower. I'll show you up close again. So again, it's one of the kind of 3D ones. So you just have, like you crochet the yellow circle first, and then you crochet the petals to make it 3D. I'm not sure what you could do with this because most of the 3D granny squares do tend to be kind of quite heavy in the middle, so like it wants to kind of tip forward a little bit. But I have seen actually people will put granny squares in a frame, and I think the 3D granny squares are perfect for putting in a frame. Like one of the, you know, the deep IKEA photo frames, and you were to kind of put that in one of these, I think that could be really nice. I think that it's probably one of the only things you can really do with the 3D granny squares, just because, like I said, they do want to kind of tip forward a little bit because they are quite center heavy, that kind of thing. But I think it's absolutely gorgeous. The little kind of netting look around the outside I think is a really nice addition. Like, it really kind of frames the flower nicely. And yeah, I just think it's lovely. So there you go. So week 18 is Dutch Windmill. So I feel like this one you can really appreciate it from far back, because you can actually see that it does look like a windmill. I thought this one was really cool when I seen it. When I was kind of working on it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can see it, I don't know. But I think I was just staring at it for too long, because you can absolutely see it. I'll show you up close anyway. So it's a really, really interesting kind of way of doing it. You are technically going in a circle, but you're just taking breaks to do these little chain sections. And that's what creates the windmill shape. The book is saying to kind of mix and match it with these two, which I do see it actually. Like, maybe if you kind of like checkerboarded these like around the edge of a blanket or something. I think I just have blankets on the brain because I'm going to be doing the the Surder crochet along, and so I just keep thinking of loads of different blanket ideas and everything like that. But yeah, I think it's really, really interesting. It's a really cool technique to kind of create a 3D image in such a flat square. So I really liked that one. So week 19 is Twilight Star. This was one I really liked the idea of, but I don't know. Kind of fell a little bit flat for me. Maybe it was my colours, maybe it's the acrylic. I don't know, but I'll show you up close then. So like I said, it is lovely. Like, you can see it's the darker yellow in kind of a center flower, lighter yellow into an outer flower, and then it's almost kind of like a filigree, I suppose, kind of lace around the outside of it. It is gorgeous, but I don't know what it is. Something about it just feels a bit flat. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too critical, but yeah, it's really, really nice. It's just not my favorite. So week 20 is called Beacon. This one here. Very, very simplistic, but actually really quite nice. Like, it is literally just kind of double crochets, and you're leaving a gap to kind of create the like triangle bits here. Like, there's nothing terribly exciting. There's no magic techniques kind of going on. And yet it's somehow it just works. It just makes sense. I don't know. It kind of pleases my little noggin. Like, the triangles and the squares, and it's just like really flat, really cohesive. I don't know. Simple. I keep saying I don't know. I do know. Simple but effective. And I really, really liked this one. Week 21 is called Solar Flare. So I think from afar on the camera this looks pretty cool. That you can see all the kind of lace filigree design going all the way around it. I think it looks really, really nice. But again, it's one of those, like, up close, if I stare at it for too long, I find flaws and I don't like it. I'll show you up close. So that's it there. So, like, it is pretty cool. It is really interesting, and because it's all gaps, it kind of worked up pretty quick, so that's always good. But yeah, I think all the way from afar, I think it looks really, really nice. And it is, like, quite nice and simple, and I think it would work well with some of the designs later on. Like, I think it would kind of mix and match quite nice. I think even using this kind of design to do like a granny square cardigan, something like that, I think it could be really, really nice, because all the gaps would make it like nice and light and airy. You could do it with some cottons, linens, bamboos, that kind of thing. I think it would look quite nice. But like, if you kind of made a top that you had them pointing this way in a diamond shape rather than a square, I think it looks really kind of cool. So yeah, simple again. It's all just repeating. Again, it's really simple but really effective, and I think it's a really, really pretty design. Week 22 is Floating Bloom. This one kind of drew me in because it does kind of remind me of the Evil Eye, and I just think it's really, really cool looking. It does look like it's, like, I can see why they named it Floating Bloom, because it does look like a little flower kind of floating. Again, it's all just kind of puff stitches. Oh yeah, and then this one, I'll show you up close actually first. So we have some puff stitches kind of going all the way around, kind of going out. And then these ones here, these yellow ones, these are actually like half double crochets together. So, but like it's not, you're not like closing it to make a decrease. I'm not explaining this very well. But that's what they are. To basically make it into a V-stitch, you're going into two separate stitches. Like so, one half double crochet, two together is spread over the two, if you get me. Again, I'm explaining that arseways, but it makes sense. Trust me, the book explains it a lot better. That alone, I think that kind of technique and then the puff stitches, I just really, really like this one. I think the dark blue around makes this bit so striking. I just think it's absolutely stunning. So week 23 is called Jewel Garden. Now, all of the jewel tones in this are gorgeous. They're stunning. Like, they really kind of draw each other out. Like, your eye really is drawn kind of out. I just think it's so gorgeous. So it's just kind of like a wheel at the start, and then there's some fan stitches to build it out and around. But it's just, like, I think it's the colours, like the colour selection going from the yellow and then going out and then the dark blue border. It really, really makes them pop. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's really nice and airy as well. So if you did want to do this in cotton, or you kept it in acrylic and you wanted to do a blanket, a throw, and like that, even like a shawl could be probably quite nice with these. Or just a bag even. I don't know, you can do that, and I just think the design is so gorgeous. Why wouldn't you want to use it? You know, the fans I think are so nice. I've never done those kind of fan stitches before, not that I can think of anyway. And I just think it really kind of goes together quite nice, and it blocked perfectly for me as well. So it's like perfectly square. So maybe that's why I extra love it, because it's the only one I think that is absolutely 90-degree angle perfect square. So, but yeah, I think it's gorgeous. Like from afar, I think it's, again, it does it. It almost looks like a fire, like a sunset or something. I don't know. I think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. Week 24 is Summer's Cauldron. I like the name of this more than I like the square. I think Summer's Cauldron is a really cool name. In theory, it is quite a nice design. The picture makes it look really, really nice, but again, maybe it's just that translation from cotton to acrylic and my colours are a little bit different. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but it's not really driving me wild. Like, it is just kind of a circle in the centre, and then the rest of it is kind of made up of little kind of clusters and stuff like that. I like the yellow. It looks white on the camera, but I like the white, yellow, and the blue. It kind of gives like a sky, like, or like summer sky kind of look to it. And then I suppose this could be kind of sunsetty. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think it's the fact that the center is just circled. It's not really doing much for me. Like, it is quite nice, but I just don't love it. It's not one that I'd be rushing to make again, you know? But like I said, it is nice, just not my favourite. Week 25 then is Tequila Sunrise. Again, from afar, this looks pretty cool. Like, the way this kind of creates like a little flowery border kind of around it, and then the dark yellow border with the light yellow. I think it does look really nice from afar. I'll show you up close. So it's just the circle, kind of like a little bit of filigree kind of stuff, like an open fan, I suppose, with I think they're double triples. Like, it is really quite nice. Like, all the openness, the airiness, I think is quite lovely, and I think the colours are quite nice. And I really do think, like, from afar it is quite eye-catching. I think it is quite lovely, and the open airiness I think is really quite nice. It has kind of like a lace effect to it, which I think is just really lovely. And again, if you were to do something and kind of keep them in that diamond shape even, I think that would look really, really quite nice. I think it would look lovely. Like in the viewfinder, it looks stunning. It looks really, really nice. And in person, it still looks nice. But it looks nicer in the viewfinder. Again, I did really like it though. And then last, but certainly not least, is week 26, is Daylight. This is honestly one of my favorites. I think it is so nice. Like from afar, up close, I think it's beautiful. Again, it's just kind of clusters and then you're going down kind of in between. I'll show you up close so you can kind of see. So you're kind of double crocheting into between the stitches. So you're kind of creating these little mini squares, and then the square, the gap actual round. I think that's stunning. It gives it like a real 3D texture, even though it's not 3D. Like these puffy stitches just look really 3D. I just, like, are you kidding me? It's absolutely stunning. And then the fact that you have like the little kind of pinwheel, almost looking sun in the middle. This was honestly probably my new favorite. I think it's gorgeous, and I think if you did like a blanket with these or something. I keep saying blankets. I don't make blankets. I don't know where this is coming from. Yeah, I think it would give a kind of like a mosaic kind of look, like if you did a border of these. And you don't have to do it in the yellows. Like I think this would really translate into any colour. I think it would look real nice. And then do it like as a border for a blanket and then a design in the middle. Blankets on the bloody brain. But I think this is absolutely gorgeous. This, honestly, I think this is probably my ultimate favourite out of all of them. Just, it's so simple when you think about it. Like, it is just tons and tons and tons of double crochets. But the combination of the double crochets is what makes it really, really interesting. And I just think it's so stinking lovely. Like, it's so, and it's just, the colours make it really summery, but like I said, it doesn't have to be in these colours. You could probably do like a really nice autumnal one, or even like a Christmassy one. I think would be really, really nice in this. Yeah. Again, another one of those pretty simple but pretty effective ones. So that is all of the Granny Squares for the summer portion of the Year of Granny Squares book. Comment down below, what was your favourite one? Is it the same as me? Have you got a different kind of favourite one? Am I insane thinking that they should all be blanket Granny Squares? I don't know. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed watching. I hope that you're enjoying the shorts that I make out of them. We're about 2-3 weeks now into the autumn ones, and there's some really nice ones kind of coming up that I'm pretty excited to make. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much. Please give this video a like. It just lets me know that you're liking the content that I'm putting out, and kind of encourages me to keep making. Again, I'm so sorry that it's weeks in between videos. Life is just sort of getting in the way at the minute. But yeah, I've rambled on enough about Granny Squares, so I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!